man got the tractor beam out of commission, or this is going to be a real short trip. Okay, hit it!
Hey there, everyone. How's it going? Looks like it's just me tonight again. Jason was supposed to join us, but I don't think he's going to. I haven't heard from him in a while, so that's cool. Got lots of pictures to show. So it's been a busy couple weeks. Been doing a lot of stuff, celebration, obviously, and just working on some models. Figured I'd get on tonight and just talk about some of the things that work in other areas. What's up, brother?
What's up? I can't hear very well, sorry.
It's okay. I didn't think you were joining us tonight.
I can hear you better now. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
All
How's it
right,
going?
fantastic. It's going good.
So we talked earlier about what we're going to talk about tonight, but I added a bunch of other stuff onto it as well. I downloaded a shitload of pictures.
All right, let's rock and roll, man.
We could talk about stuff that you and I are doing. Not really working on anything particular right now. I'm just finishing up a few things, like the ion cannon I have to get finished, and I just finished that ATST, which I sold to Mike Costa because I want to build a donor part scratch build one like you have.
Yeah.
How's yours coming along? Is it almost done, or are you completely finished with it, or what's going on?
The one I get going overseas, the scratch built one that I previously sold, that one's just about done. I just got to do the head. Well, that like dress up the head with the greeblies. I got to break up some kits, but for the most part, I got all the leg work done and all the cutting and stuff for the front feet. But yeah, I mean it's pretty much good to go. And then the second one that we're kind of working on in tandem. I want that one to be really spot on. Again, and I think I'm going to go. We discussed: do we want to go hero? Do we want to go idealized? And there may be some people who are currently watching or maybe watching this after. So the original one, because it was only on screen for kind of blink and you miss it, right? You barely see it. What they did was they knew it was only going to be screen for a few seconds, so they only built up the side facing the screen, which I would assume to be the left side technically. So the left side is all built up in detail. Where on the right side, when you flip it over, it's missing all of the extra detail that you would see on the legs, and it just has marking and marker that says off camera, which is interesting. And there's some images that I think might even be in the Chronicles book, but yeah, they're a little grainy. They're hard to see, but if you look close enough, you'll notice that it's not as dressed up. So the one that I'm currently going to be working on in tandem with you is going to be the hero, meaning it's going to be completed the way it is accurate to the screen. The one I was doing as a commission piece, scratch built, that I'm doing idealized.
I don't know, Jason. I was just talking. Can everybody hear me okay? Because they were saying my audio is choppy.
At first it was cutting in and out, but you sound good now.
I sound okay? All right. So I was just talking to Joseph today on the phone, and we were talking about this in particular, the hero side and non-hero side. And dude, I know it's like screen accurate, but I'm just going to struggle so much with just doing one side. I know it's not, I don't think I think it would bother me to not finish the other side, even though it's going to cost me a lot to get the donor cart parts, but I just really love the way it looks looking at you, and it like the one, just even the pose that I made on mine. I love the way that looks. So I really do.
Fantastic piece and beautiful. You are right.
Yeah.
But I think so. The one I did as a commission, when I was telling you about, it ended up going up about another $1,000 just to finish the other leg, and that, I mean, that's crazy. But at the same time, some parts of the lower leg are from some really rare, hard to find kits. And that, I mean, that's kind of a reason why I'm doing mine more screen accurate, because I don't want to, first off, the kits are hard enough to find. It's not even about the financial aspect of it. It's how tedious it is to track down these kits. And I've been doing it a little bit of a different way here.
Yeah.
So even doing it that way is still time consuming. But you're right. After doing a lot of research and deep diving with the ESP version and the ROTJ version, I don't know. There's something about the Empire Strikes Back walker or chicken walker, whatever you want to call it, that just aesthetically, man, it just delivers. It just. And I was reading a thread or a forum where people were talking about just that. And me and you had quite a few conversations about this and deep detail. But I agree with you and some of the comments I read where the other one just looks so disproportionate, right? It's not an ugly piece. It's a great looking piece, but very
No,
disproportionate.
you mean Jedi, the Jedi
Yeah, the Jedi
version?
Yeah. Very disproportionate.
I'm not a big fan
And
of
I
it.
think
I really love the ESB version. The Jedi version never really thrilled me. But I think once I have this an Empire one, and then I also have the ATDT from John Simmons,
that's a solo one, right?
and then put this one with it. Yeah, that's a solo one. It's smaller, but it's still in that mold. Okay. And then, you know, like Merlin Models had talked about doing a concept ATST as well. So it's just like,
That would be
I got to do
fantastic.
the Return of the Jedi. Like all four of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all together in a line. Just, I don't know. You have to. You just have to. So, but like I said, I have to do it. I just have. What's that?
I didn't mean to. Great group tonight. Got Joseph.
Yeah,
Joseph, how you doing? Nice to see you here. We get Takautri, John, Robin, Benjamin, Carlos, Stuart. Stuart, how are you?
Hey,
Scott,
Carlos.
Scott Berry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah. I thought it was just going to be me tonight. So I'm glad you joined in.
I don't leave you hanging, brother. Yeah.
I know you wouldn't leave me hanging, but, you know, you fall asleep and sometimes you just don't wake up. You know, it's just people get tired.
It's only happened the last couple shows, man.
Not just you in general. Right? Not just you in general. Yeah. I'm just saying everybody. So, yeah, I mean, those are the only two things that I'm working on right now. There's one project that's going to start very soon, but I don't want to talk about that yet. I'm actually going to do a pretty in-depth video documentation of how I'm making this particular piece, and I'm trying to get it done for Wonderfest next year. So that'll be coming eventually. But other than that, I'm kind of deciding what I want to do next. You know, the ATST is going to be a slow process because I have to get all the parts.
We have a very specific goal in mind for that one, so I think that's a beast in and of itself because of what you're executing, not because of the ATST. But I mean, not the ATST. I thought you were talking about the AT-AT. I'm sorry.
No, the ATST. That's what I'm talking about. And the other thing I'm documenting.
I think building that in tandem is fun because I definitely think it helps, right? When you're building something with somebody else, just, you know, sharing info. Hey, look what I found. Look what I got. Look what I discovered. What do you think of this? How's it just, I don't know. It gives a lot more motivation, a lot more ambition. And I think it allows creatively to just be so much in the zone that the piece comes out better, right? Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, look at the nights where you and I stayed up. We're in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I write you something and I see that you see it. And I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm calling him. So I just call you in the middle of the night and we just talk parts all night, you know, for like the next 2 hours. And then somehow I got to drive to fucking New York City for 3 hours in at 5 a.m. And yeah, I end up paying for it. So
it helps though. It makes those conversations do make a difference. I've moved along quite significantly on some pieces because of some of those conversations.
Yeah. Well, I've also passed a lot of exits on those conversations as well. So there's times where I'm driving and we're so in depth in the conversation that I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. And I'm supposed to get off on an exit, you know, that I've gone on. I get off to go to my office 100 million times, and I'll drive right past it. And I'll realize like 10 miles down the line, I'm like, shit, I was supposed to turn there.
You do it all the time.
I do it all the time. And the worst time was I was driving the turnpike and I totally missed my exit. I had to drive another 30 miles down the turnpike and then 30 miles back because I had to get off at the next exit wasn't for 30 miles. So I'm like, mother. I was remember that one. I was really not happy then. No, I think you know what? Was I talking to you or was I talking to Joseph when that happened?
You probably did it both times, so you're probably talking to both of us.
Probably, yeah. So let me show a picture here that I love finding pictures, okay, of when they were building this stuff and when they were planning it and they were just behind this. I love behind the scenes pictures. I really do. I think a lot of them are staged. Don't get me wrong. Like this one probably is staged, but I just enjoy looking at them and just kind of seeing like what, like, I don't like, I would try to wonder what the hell's going on here. Like he's holding, this is Joe Johnston, right?
Yeah, I love this image.
And he's holding Cantwell's models.
Dude, you know what he's doing in this picture, right?
What?
You don't know? Dude, he's straight up just like pew 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 pew. He's just like he's that's what he's doing.
Well, this is a picture I think is staged. I mean, I don't know that this is definitely a staged picture, like for photos.
It is, but he was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna have some fun and just play with them.
Yeah, but all his drawings are behind here, right? Those are his.
Yeah, he's got the concept Y-wing behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is this the Cantwell? This is not the Cantwell one.
That looks like Cantwell's, and then to the right, those are definitely Joe's.
His.
That's
yeah.
The model I got is a spitting image of those.
I don't know. I'd never seen this image before, and it was something I thought was really cool. And I don't know if maybe everybody's seen it, but I haven't seen it. I just thought I'd share it and see. I think it's cool. But
he has a book. He has a couple books, right? He's got the sketch books and a few other concept books that are separate from the blue covered ones. Mm-hmm. And he has another book that he put out. It didn't get like wide publication and it came out pretty recently, like in the last decade or so, but a lot of these pictures are in there, and that's how I first saw it. And I saw this and I loved it. I just thought this was fantastic. And he has another one where he's legit. He's got the Super Trooper, the Proto Boba, and he's like in the process of like painting him like green Boba.
Okay. Yeah, where he's like sitting to the side, like turning to the side. Yeah. So, like I do like the Cantwell. Like I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of Cantwell's designs, to be honest. I like the Sandcrawler. No, not the Sandcrawler. The Y-wing, obviously. And I like the TIE Fighter here a little bit. It's cool medieval looking design, but I never was a fan of the X-wing or the Sandcrawler or the Star Destroyer. But then I was looking at pictures from somebody built both of these pieces for Wonderfest this year, and
they came out great.
They came out great. Like the X-wing, the wings are really big and like they open up really, really wide.
It's like on the Cantwell one, it's a literal X. Like it's like an XX, like a proper. That tie from Wonderfest though, if the opportunity ever prevailed, I would be 1,000% all over that.
Now you had asked me, are they metal parts on the tie wings? Or are they plastic parts on the tie wings? Now, didn't he use a lot of metal?
On the original, he used metal, right?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Like, I would think the problem with it being metal is like how thin these pieces are, unless they're plexiglass. If they're plexiglass, then they'll hold up to the metal better.
Weight.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just found this picture pretty interesting. Anytime I find a cool picture, I'll either throw it up on the group or just I save it. I save a lot of these pictures and throw them up in a dummy Facebook account that I have that's just private for myself and for you. But let's get into a couple things that I pulled aside here. So one thing that I wanted to talk about was oh crap, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that. The Merlin bases. Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Yeah, we should be.
Okay, good. So Merlin Models decided to change their bases and make them more uniform, um, he and I had a conversation about the bases after he was listening to one of our shows, and the last group therapy actually, and we had kind of said we didn't like the bases that much. And he listened to it, and he called me, texted me, and said, "Hey, let's talk about the bases, and maybe we can." He wants them to be pleasing for everybody, not just the models. He wants the bases to be really great too. And what I had talked to him about was going less is more, right? The less you put on the base, the more your eye is drawn to the model instead of the base. So he listened and took any kind of info that, any kind of opinion that I had about it, and kind of went with it and kind of gave like a poll to see what everybody wanted. And he gave 4 different options, and 2 of them were clearly the higher percentage of winners, right? So he took 2 of them and merged them together to get this, which I personally like a lot. I like the stripe around. It harkens back to vintage collecting. And I like the plaque in the front to be angled a little bit, and nothing else. It's very plain, very basic, almost museum piece looking, and your eye can focus straight onto the model itself. Yes?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if it's me or you guys in the chat. Is Chris's audio chopping up or is it mine? Can anybody give me feedback? I heard most of what you said. It's just a little choppy, but yeah, with the bases, I agree. We talked about this a few times where less is more, right? And only because you have such beautiful models, and this isn't a dig by any means at what Merlin Models is doing. I just think you have these fantastic pieces, okay, and they're of proper scale. You don't want anything competing visually with the actual model when on display. And I go there sometimes out of habit. I hate doing it, but there's a reason. So master replicas, okay? I know not everybody's a fan of the mirror. And it's not necessarily the mirror that I want to point out, but it's the simplicity of just the black base in the mirror. And the reason why that worked is because you focused on the piece. And it drew your eye to the hilt, the blaster, the speeder, whatever it was that you were looking at. And sometimes when a base gets a little too busy, I think by design, it looks good. Technically, it looks good in paper and it kind of looks good in your mind's eye. But once it's on display, it's hit or miss. It all depends on the piece. Like the ADAT, for example, the light up base. It may not be for everybody, but it technically, it's a nice looking piece. However, when the bases get just a little too well designed, there's a lot of competition visually, and I think that can be a little difficult. So, yeah, I think less is more, and I think the approach they took to gain some feedback from the community, and I think they eventually made a juxtaposition based on the numbers 1 through 4. They kind of combined the 2 favorites and put those together, which I really like.
I just realized I didn't have the pictures up on the screen. I was going back and forth between this and the X-Wing, McCrory X-Wing, and just realized that I didn't have them up on the screen. Do I sound better now?
Yeah, it's kind of going in and out though. You sound fine right now.
Okay. Yeah, base should be a compliment, not detract. That's completely
well said, Joseph.
correct. Yeah.
And sometimes simplistic, just black, whether it's shiny or matte, is sometimes the best way to go.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've talked about it many times how I don't like diorama bases. We both do. We both like museum basic.
Yeah, I'm a big museum style.
Basic,
yeah. And I've seen some amazing diorama pieces. Like I've seen some that really give you the wow factor. But even the ones that I like and enjoy, I still find, like if I was to say, would I want that in my collection? It still puts me off a little, but admiring it from afar, I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. Yeah.
No. And let's talk about the Ewing here a little bit. Like we talked about it a little bit on group therapy. I was not interested in a Ewing. I've told you that.
You even on like a Ewing, like,
yeah.
Ooh, what's a Ewing? I'm like, it's a pretty popular ship.
It wasn't that popular with me. So, like, and I guess probably because I didn't pay attention much. I mean, I just didn't really think it was used. Well, I guess it was used a lot in Rogue One. But it wasn't a ship that I had any interest in. But then seeing his renders for this were just so good. Oh, I gotta find them now. Here we are. So this was the old base, which I didn't care for. I didn't care.
I don't like the step up, 2-step.
No, I don't like the step. I think it was too high. I didn't like the font. It just this completely overpowered this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely did. But then, like, okay, so here's the cockpit for the U-wing. That's pretty freaking detailed. I mean, that's really great. I think I love it. And then what sold me even more was this cargo hold. Like, look at the mesh seat right there. It's just it's a woven, straps.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's incredible. And I ordered it right away after that.
It's gonna be a fun build. I mean,
it is.
The more we chat with these guys, the more I participate in the Discord, the more I speak directly with Ethan and not so much Justin. I mean, Justin is a little bit more behind the scenes, which I can respect. But it just seeing how thought out these are to make these kits both fun. What I like is the middle ground, right? They're easy enough to do for the beginner, okay? Like they're not too intimidating and they're not too overwhelming if it's something that you want to try your hand at. But at the same time, someone who's well versed can also still have a lot of fun building it, right? You're not catering to one end or the other. It's that middle ground that makes it nice. But I think the U-wing was an interesting choice. I don't think it was as risky as we initially thought. Like I said, I think there was a lot of popularity around the U-wing, kind of, a sleeper piece. But after he showed the renders, you're right, it just confirmed it that much more that this is a fantastic kit that's going to be coming out. And
normally I don't really all that much. If it's a ship, I don't really generally care for it to be a landed display. But this one I do. I like it this in a landing position. And from what I understand, the wings open up. But that's a wide, dude. Okay, so these, do they only open up like this much, or do they completely open up? I don't know the ship that well.
Yeah, it might be good to get some clarification from Ethan. They might be deciding on that. I don't know if it opens up full, which I would assume it might with the way they execute things. However, it might do it where, like, if you want to aim, put and then have the wings partially opening, like it's about to, like it's in the process of taking flight and opening up. I think that'd be a great way to display. But even parked, I mean, it's fantastic because it's one of the only ships from a movie outside the original trilogy that falls in line. You have, the A-wing, the B-wing, the X-wing, the Y-wing, and this is the U-wing. All the other ones have their standard names.
So pictures I've seen, though, I haven't seen too many pictures where the wings completely open up to like a 90-degree angle. I think they might just open up to like a 45-degree angle. If anybody knows, okay, Joseph says they should open up to a 90-degree. Okay, so yeah. Okay. I'm going to display it like this. Mainly because I want to be able to see that cargo hold. Like I like that a lot. Joseph, mirror bases on the MR pieces served a purpose so you could see the underside of the ship. That is true. That is something that I've struggled with thinking, like my Millennium Falcon. I did a lot of work on that. And you really can't see the bottom of it at all. Well, you can if you go to the other side and kind of look underneath. It's on an angle. But there's two pieces I want the piece that I'm gonna do in the future has to be sort of a mirror because I'm gonna do a lot of work on the bottom. But like I don't. These are just gloss bases, though. Gloss surfaces, right? They're not mirrored at all.
No, but I think he was saying that they're highly reflective. So I think they're shiny enough that you'll get some reflection. But that's right. The MR ones, even for the blouses and the hills, they display beautifully because you get to see more of the piece with that mirror. But I think the reflection on the black. Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. I interrupted you. I don't think I like a full blown mirror base. I like it to be a little smoky. You know, like
we talked. Yeah, I remember we were going through the different types of acrylics. Yeah, but also I feel, Chris, it depends on the piece, right? Like you don't want something super reflective with like a sand crawler. So that's supposed to be gritty and dirty. But if you have something that's a little bit cleaner or a little bit more like deep, like let's say like you have slave one more in idle instead of like flying, like let's say you have the engine facing the bottom, okay? The reflective surface will give you a look at all of what's underneath, or like the transport ship. So I feel like reflection is good for those parts, but other pieces look good on a more satin finish or matte finish, or even like you said, a little bit of a smoky finish.
Yeah. Okay. So I think somebody asked a question here. Are you guys doing the NYC as well or just Merlin? NYC is doing a great job with their pieces. Michael and his crew are doing fantastic work. I personally am going more models because I want to build them. But NYC is giving a great, it's sort of like MR. Okay. So if a person can't build these or can't afford to, or doesn't want to afford to pay somebody
at the time, or some people just don't have a setup. Like they don't live in an area where you can start spraying fumes and chemicals and
right. You can't I really couldn't at first, but I was doing it in my kitchen, when my wife was sleeping. So that's what I was doing mine. But like they're kind of doing the same thing. They're giving you what MR used to give you. They're giving you a great looking vehicle ship, whatever the case may be, that you can just open up, put on your shelf, and it looks great. So, Merlin's doing great. NYC's doing a great thing for us ship collectors. And Merlin's doing a great service as well by giving us model kits that are well done and put together like you bought them from a store, So, Jason, you're going Merlin, right? I think I could speak for you.
Yeah.
Right?
For the same purpose, I think what NYC is doing is fantastic, and they're filling that hole that MR left when they left, and also the effects where they just kind of stopped and halted. It's great to be able to buy something that you can just literally take out of the box and put it on display, right? Yeah. But for me, as much as I think those pieces are amazing and look beautiful, for me, I like I just like the process and the challenge of building it.
I love building it.
It's the fun. Yeah. It's the fun of building.
Yeah, it's oh crap, my picture's too small. Holy crap. All right. Well, let's move on. I got some pictures from the celebration. A couple models that were there. We had the Razor Crest, which this was an unexpected cool thing that was a celebration. The Mando experience, which I don't think many people knew about beforehand, and I didn't even know about till later on the first day, because I was sitting at a panel where Filoni and Favreau were at, and they're like, "Hey, we brought a whole bunch of stuff over from the Mando set," and I didn't even know where it was. It was in a different building. We went over, and it was absolutely amazing. It was one of the best. It was the best thing there. And they had 3 ships right when you walked in. Okay, they had the Razor Crest. Why is it not going on next to the next picture? Damn it, they're too small. Freaking A. I hope all my pictures are not too small like this, because I pulled them from the same way. Let's see here. I'm just gonna look at something. Oh no, that was big. Okay, so it's just my celebration pictures. Sweet. So you couldn't really get a good look at these models that well because they were just downlit. The light was shining down on them. You couldn't see below them, and you couldn't see a lot of detail. This was really cool because it was like it wasn't like shiny. It was like more of a eggshell finish. It wasn't real like reflective, like a lot of people think it should be. Um, and it's gonna bug me that these pictures are so small. And then they had I don't know what this ship is called. It's the Naboo fighter, but what they call it after they souped it all up. That was the third one, and then the one that blew me away was this one. Is Ahsoka's ship.
Yeah, we both were like, remember? I think you called me or I called you. Like,
Yeah.
I heard something. We were both like, look at this thing. This thing is amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to bring it up bigger because this sucks. Yeah, I was well at first I didn't even know what the hell it was, right? So I even asked around. I asked John Simmons, and he got back to me, and he's like, "Hey, I think it's a Ahsoka ship because it was shown real quickly in Rebels." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because I really liked it a lot, and without even knowing it was from Rebels. But it kind of like blew me away. Then because I like Ahsoka. Ahsoka's a favorite character of mine. Okay, here we got some better pictures, and it hasn't been shown yet. This is like the first time I've seen this, and I'm assuming that it's going to be more prevalent in her upcoming show. You would think, but I just thought it was such a cool design. I don't know that it's. I think it's all like a 3D render. It doesn't have like I didn't see a lot of kit parts on it. But it has the Millennium Falcon cockpit kind of almost sort of. It has this like metal, this like wing design kind of like I don't know what you can see the pattern better on this cartoon picture that I have of it. But I even talked to Joseph about this, and I was like, "Holy crap, we got to find a way to get this made, either by hook or by crook," you know. So and it's funny because we may have found a way to possibly get it made in the future. I'm hoping, but it's like it's just a cool design.
Yeah, Chris Joseph mentioned. Remember, I was telling you the Naboo Starfighter. They literally printed that thing in metal.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, huh? Pretty freaking crazy.
Yeah, I think it was. I think they gifted it to Favreau. General Giant, believe it or not, is it their parent company, sister company? But the reason I learned about some of their printing technology and how they was, I don't want to say one of the first, but some of the first to have some of the more higher end printing technology was because they actually serviced a couple of like the actual art world, like artists in the art world, like sculptures and exhibitions at a ticket, like museum exhibitions, and there were a few sculptures that were upscaled. And an artist that I know very well, he had made these like 16-inch sculptures, and General Giant or whatever their parent company is that they're affiliated with took that and made it into like an 8-foot statue by 3D printing it. And the detail was just beyond reproach. It was phenomenal. It didn't look like a typical 3D print.
Yeah. This here is I think this is Moff Gideon's cruiser, right? If I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong.
Think so, yeah.
This was another ship that they had there. I thought it was cool. It's almost like the Rebel. Not the Rebel. The clone Star Destroyers that were in the Clone Wars for the early Republic. I thought that was a cool ship as well. So those were a cool, neat, cool thing. Yeah, Scott, that is true. So let's keep our fingers crossed. I think once Ahsoka comes out, and if this is in her show, I think it's going to get a lot more love because it's such a cool design. Such a cool design. Let me see if I could find that picture that I had of where it was animated. So just give me a second, Jason.
Yep.
Joseph here says the Razor Crest was burnished aluminum, has a burnished aluminum on it. You know anything about that, Jason?
A little bit. I didn't deep dive too much, but I did. I think I read it somewhere or was in discussion with somebody where that had come up.
There's my picture. Okay. There we go. So here is the Ahsoka ship as an animated version, which I think it looks like Rebels kind of animation. So like you could see the bird wing on the wings, bird wings on there. It's very cool. And I never noticed it before, but this just blew my mind at Celebration. I took a lot of pictures of it if you didn't notice. So thanks Joseph for that. Moff ship was scratch built by Joe Goodson. Nice. It was a good design. Nice, cool ship. See if I can pull up a few. What the next folder I wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think it might have been. It's not to cut you off, Chris. I'm sorry. I think going back to the Razor Crest, Just is right, because I think initially people thought it was like a silver coating, or maybe like even like an aluminum luster. So I think it is burnished aluminum, which that's why it has such a unique and specific style and look to it.
Okay, so this you and I talked about, and we'll talk about it tonight. It's insane. Okay, I don't know who built this. I don't know his name. I probably should have looked it up, but this may have even been the piece that I think this was built a while ago, actually. But I've seen more pictures of it lately because he apparently just started painting it. And if I'm not wrong, John sent me a video about how this thing was started. So this is a Joe Johnston concept artwork, right, Jason?
Mm-hmm. The middle one is for sure, yeah.
Okay.
So
why can't I go through my pictures? So somebody decided to make this a scratch build. And if you can't tell, like the pictures are, it's insane how many donor kit parts are on here. Like this is all styrene, but these are donor kits. This is all donor kits in the middle here. It's just freaking nuts. I switch there. No, it won't let me. I have to switch back and forth for some reason. It's just really well done. Just a huge undertaking that, I mean, it's just a lot of craftsmanship went into this sucker. I mean, just thinking of, supporting it and laying out where all the stuff's going to go and making it look, because this here is like a whole airplane. Like right here is a whole airplane. A model kit.
Yeah, the attention to detail on this is phenomenal.
Crazy. There's PVC pipes in there.
Yeah.
Look at all these donor kit parts. Just nuts. I'm trying to see if I can identify any of them.
Oh, I can. Yeah, you can, man. You see right away. There's you get the 312T, the 312. Yeah. You got
these look familiar to me. I'm not sure what.
A couple Shimano pieces. You get the Stewart. Yeah, there's a bunch popping up.
Think about how many
BT-46,
Kids use
BT-46 is on there.
there's some mono pieces there.
Crazy.
Just insane.
Remember we were talking, maybe not this particular piece, but I do love how the donor kits look before they get primed and painted. Like a piece that's just fully finished with the donor kits.
Yeah.
I think we initially, the both of us sort of fell in love with that look. Was it the Death Star Bridge, or was it the Sandcrawler? The Sandcrawler. And then we decided and then I think we were deciding to potentially build a piece. I don't want to talk about it now, but build a piece with donor kits, but leave it unpainted.
Yeah, that's one of my big goals, to do that.
Mm. Yeah, there's the paint there.
He's just underneath here.
That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
I mean, you got to realize here we got probably 1.5 inch diameter PVC here, 1 inch down here. This thing's huge, and this big honking piece here, I think that's not a Saturn V piece. That's too big for a Saturn.
That's too big, right? Yeah.
Yeah, these look the size of the Saturn V's, but not this one. It's just bonkers.
It's wild.
I mean,
and it's not a small piece. Knowing some of those kit parts, seeing them on there, you get an idea of how big this thing really is.
I mean, I wish you could see this in person. Like, this would be something so cool to see in person before it's painted. I think it's painted already. I think he started priming and painting it, but okay. So you can do this and just throw kit parts on, right? But to put it on like this and make it look functional, artistic, some kind of pattern, so that it looks like a real ship rather than just a bunch of pieces just thrown on.
Look at all those unique layers of styrene, like cuts, really interesting cuts, layer, top, different thicknesses. Notches.
Yeah. Lifeboat here. Yes, sir. You can appreciate this. You and your Millennium Falcon, you understand what it takes to do something like this.
Yeah, we still gotta have. I know the time difference poses a little bit of, a little bit of difficulty, but we still gotta have Stuart join us for a chat.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to talking with him.
And if I remember, if it's the same, I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, but he decided to paint this like Home One, the Moncal ships.
Mm-hmm.
The different multicolored.
Makes sense. Makes sense to go that route.
Yeah, now, I don't have to go back and look and see the original picture, but did it have that kind of aesthetic to it, like shades or paint or that piece I recognize? It's just a crazy build. I mean, I could sit here and look at these parts for hours and just try to pick out. Like, there's a Ferrari piece, right? That's a
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boat and a lot of sports car pieces on this. A lot of boat pieces.
Mm-hmm. I know I've seen this picture of this piece before. I just can't picture it. I can't think of what it is. Maybe Stuart knows. I mean, look at the underside. Jesus.
That's crazy. Next level, man. There's the top of the
ATST
right there. Those, Chris, see the two brown pieces?
These?
Right there, yeah. That's on the head of the ATST.
On the back.
Looks like a larger scale version, but
the back top.
Yep, the back top, right before the hatch.
Yeah.
But it's amazing too, right? To be such a talented model builder, to look at a what's it called? Concept sketch drawing, and be able to create that and replicate it in a way that most likely would have happened had ILM actually executed it. So this is done in a way where he didn't just go willy-nilly with like the most random of parts. He actually chose parts from kits that they used at that time, circa 75, 76.
Imagine how many. Oh, dude, right there. That's a piece I just used for my
Mm-hmm.
for my Death Star crane. That piece right there, right on top. Imagine how many kits he used to do this. I mean, he's probably got boxes of them. I'll fill in a whole garage or something. I mean, there's the writing for the PVC pipe. Fucking nuts. There's that piece again. I don't know about you, Jason, but I can sit here for hours looking at this. We may be boring everybody else.
Oh, for sure.
But like, just I mean, holy shit. This needs to be shown. I'd love to know how many kit parts he's used to do this. I mean, look, it's like two big sections, and then the bridge in the middle.
Well, I wonder what the frame of the body, right?
Yeah. I didn't see any early pictures of this, like in the beginning. You know, like the part. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Having a hard time hearing you
So.
again, Chris. I'm sorry.
I don't know what's up with my computer. I don't know why it's doing this. I never had this issue before. Let me.
Can you hear it?
I can't hear nothing. No, it sounds fine to me. But let me see if I can fix it. Yeti. It's showing it's fine.
All right now you're good.
It's okay.
But for a while, when you talk
turn off.
like a little consistently, that's what it sounds like. It's like interference and static.
Well,
yeah.
Just let me know when that happens
better.
again. If it keeps happening, I'll just what?
That's so much better.
That's better. Okay.
I don't know what you
I
did.
turned
but
off the
sound
echo
very clear.
cancellation. I turned off the echo cancellation. So
Yeah, I can hear a little background hiss.
I only got
but
3.
It's better. Oh, now I'm hearing myself.
Turn on my.
Is it your headphones?
No, it's the computer here has a fan. It's blowing right on the microphone. Try to move it so it doesn't do that. I always have problem with audio. No matter what show I go on, I buy all these good microphones, and they still I have problems on group therapy because people can't hear me, and I just need to buy a good, even better microphone or something. I don't know. Does it sound okay now?
Yeah, you do. Like I said, I can hear
Does it?
mild hissing, but I
Okay.
prefer that. I prefer that over the stuttering.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But yeah, cool, amazing piece, just insane, mind-boggling how long this took and how much time it took. Must have had a very, very patient wife. So let's see. All right, let's show. This is Linda. Let's show something that John sent me today.
Johnny boy.
Listen. I could like I feel like I'm a stalker sometimes because I go on his page and look at his pictures way more than I should. I almost feel like, I should be looking at porn instead, but I'm not. I look at this. So I don't know why I can't just arrow over and it pisses me off, but whatever. So this is his A-Wing he just finished. And it's just beautiful. I mean, I love the different panels, the different shaded panels. He put on the other one, he put a handprint on, right? He put it in the side and then mist it over with, I think it's SP lettering gray, right?
Yeah.
The handprint, he put a little bit of latex on and then misted over it. So I asked him, he sold that one. So I asked him this time, I said, what do you get? This is for somebody. This is for a good friend of ours. And I said, well, what are you going to do this time? Handprint or something? He goes, no, there's nothing planned. Right. So I sent him this funny meme about how this leprechaun keeps teabagging dirty, dusty cars. And poor Minder was like, "No, I don't think so. No, let's not do that." I was thinking he's got to do something funny like that. I would. I get it.
Speaking of Parminder, he's really building quite the studio scale collection as we move forward.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
only had a couple pieces a while back. Now he's got quite a beautiful collection. Both him and
does.
Tony.
Yeah, him and
Tony's
Tony.
getting some fantastic pieces as well.
They're getting him from. They're getting him from John. I mean,
Can't
seriously.
beat that.
No, I've said it before. I've said it a million times. John, to me, is one of the better painters that I have. I love looking at his work. I love watching his videos. He's become quite a good friend lately. We talk
Yeah,
quite a
John's a
bit.
great guy.
He really is. He's funny, and he definitely has some stories to tell. I didn't realize these were bendy straws, right here on the original studio scale model. They used those bendy straws to use as hoses. It's freaking crazy the stuff they would do, and you wouldn't ever think of it. You know what I mean? But I'll be using these as reference a lot.
That's a gorgeous shot right there with all the different layers and variations of color right there.
You have this panel here that's one shade. This panel here is another shade. Then you have. It looks like he actually scratched down, either scratched or dremeled down to the primer there. Just amazing. Just a real artist, honestly. I love learning from him. His page is one of the first things that I noticed when I originally got into studio scale models. As I was looking at it, I was like, what the hell? Like, this stuff's freaking gorgeous.
Well, it's funny just to have some fun going back. It's quite a ways, but when we first started getting into it a little bit more heavily, like, you know, you had some pieces, I had some pieces. There was a few things I'd take it around with, the same as you that you'd take it around with. I had found Lee, right? I think I was watching some of his older YouTube videos, and you had found John, and then we would call each other and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you this link. Check out this video." And be like, "Oh, I found another cool one. Check out this guy." And then we didn't realize that Lee and John were really good friends. But I started talking to Lee, you started talking to John, and we didn't realize that, you know, how connected the community was. But it was just great for reference purposes and just getting to know like the approach and how these things were done. But it's been a lot of fun, and they're just fantastic guys to chat with and have good rapport with and learn
Not
from.
only that, but you have the inside track on buying Lee's work, and I have the inside track on buying John's work. So
Yeah,
it works out, you know. I bought a couple John's pieces, and I'm going to show you the new one that I just recently purchased. After I'm done showing these pictures at the A-Wing, he sent me these today, and I was like, wow, these are insane. And I know he just put a video out. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet on the finished piece, but I have honestly taken his pieces that he has sent me and just sit there staring at them and trying to work out how he does it and how I can do better. I don't know if you guys don't know this. This is a Lassie Henning model. If you haven't seen his video on building this piece, an insane model. Just a very amazingly well done model kit. You know, right there with the way Merlin models. There's hardly any work that needs to be done to it. There's no flashing. There's no crazy, you know, pouring boiling water on it to straighten it out. It's done very well. I love this red. It was it caboose red? No, boxcar red. It's boxcar red.
yeah, it's the boxcar right here.
And then misted with the SP lettering gray, like it gives it this dusty sheen kind of look.
Yeah, it just looks like it's been knocking into debris and oil spills and engine exhaust, and yeah.
Just beautiful, beautiful. I love how that looks. and more staining and airbrushing, and I think
Chris, it's interesting, right? Because us and most of the people watching, we take for granted that it's natural to us that these are practical effects, that these are studio scale models. But and then had somebody who doesn't know this stuff, and it's like shocking to us, like, oh, how could you not know that? But there's a lot of people who aren't into this the same way, the community is. So I had a coworker, a friend recently, where I was showing some images to him. He's like, well, I don't understand, what are those things? And I'm like, those are the ships from Star Wars. He said, well, what do you mean? That what did they use? Are those like the toys, the ship toys? And I said, no, those they built those out of like, model kit parts and this, that. And his mind was so in awe that like he wasn't looking at something that was like CGI or like a pre-purchased item that like existed already. And he's like, oh, they like built this and this is how, and I'm like, yeah, and this is, and he's like, wow, it looks so realistic. It looks like such a real, like this, these burnish marks, the spills, the streaks, the damage. And it's funny because again, we take it for granted because we're so into this, but it took me out of that place for a moment of, an outsider looking in, of somebody who, doesn't put all the time, effort, and energy into these things, and like seeing that perspective, like, oh, okay, like this isn't something they went out and purchased or designed or bought in a more practical way. Like they actually built this from scratch and made it look as realistic as possible. And the fact that today you have so many amazing guys in this community that can replicate this stuff just blows my mind.
Yeah, it does. And honestly, when you take you build a model like this, and you take kits, you take pieces off of a tank or a plane or a ship or something like that, it gives it more subconsciously in your mind. It kind of gives it more of a real world
reference
to it, which I just always found brilliant. I don't know, maybe they did do that on purpose, maybe they didn't, I'm not sure, but when I think about it, like I look at this and you may not know what those parts are, okay? You may not know what model kit they came from, but you can look at it and say, okay, that don't look like a Star Trek ship. Like it.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. You're right.
A Star Trek ship's very futuristic and very clean and very streamlined and very
looks very
sterilized.
Looks very out of space and unnatural.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Whereas this
looks like something that would exist for real.
Yes. Like in the future, it would exist. And it's funny. My kids are 18 now. They'll be 19 in 10 days. And they're not huge Star Wars fans like me. They're not. They haven't started their collection yet. But like even they're fascinated by the fact that they used tank kits to make models that look like spaceships. Like you're taking a piece from a tank or a ship or a submarine.
Formula One race car.
Yeah. And you're making it look like a futuristic, real world spaceship. I find that fascinating. I don't know why I do, but it does. It fascinates me. And they actually look at it and they're like, wow. They think the same thing. Like they'll probably even more appreciate it later when they get all my shit. So. But. Well, I mean, I always say that's why I do this. That's why I keep a lot of this stuff. Not just because I'm a hoarder, but I plan on giving them to my kids. And my wife is like, well, what do I get? I'm like, well, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to sell it. Well, then you're not getting shit because you're. Why am I buying all this stuff just for you to sell it when I'm dead? So, yeah.
It amazes me how many people. I've seen a few situations of people who have these amazing collections. And oh, my father died. He's get all this Star Wars stuff. Like, anybody who'd like to buy it? I got to get it out of here. I don't, stuff is junk. And I'm like, whoa.
Did you said, well, what? Did you cut out?
Oh, no, I was just talking about like people who don't share, their kids don't share the same passion. I was saying like I've come across a few incidences over the last few years where I've had people reach out like, hey, do you want to buy this? Like, well, what's this all about? Oh, my father passed and he has all this Star Wars junk. And I'm just like, whoa.
Right. So the next thing I'm going to show is, oh, damn it. What happened there? Is this. So we just looked at the regular A-Wing, right? And I'm just going to show the concept A-Wing, the McCory concept A-Wing that I just got from John. I don't have it in my possession yet, but I will very soon. I used to be able to just like go right through and click the next picture, but for some reason my player is not working. So this is all scratch build from donor kit parts. These are 2 airplane. Do you know what Do you know what kit they come from, Jason?
I don't know specifically. No.
Yeah,
I know. I'm familiar, but I don't know off the top of my head.
So let's just put on a slideshow, see what happens. There, we'll just go to the next one because it's not working right. So like I said, it's all scratch built. Donor kit parts. You can see a couple of the different colors here. Some styrene. John built this from scratch, and it's not very big. You know, you can see by his hand there. It's not a big piece, but
it also shouldn't be.
No. But it's not like if I look at my X-Wing back here, you know, it kind of is in scale with that, I think. Close, right? So his thumb is almost as big as the cockpit, right? So, and I have a big hand, so it's pretty close to like proportional wise with 1/24th X-Wing. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? Like you could fit the pilot from the X-Wing probably in there, wouldn't you think? No.
It'd be a little tight, but you're not. I know you're getting at. You're not. Yeah, you're close to.
Okay, so let's get back to this. Damn it! Why did that go? So yeah, I'm just gonna go through some of these pictures of the build. Again, I think those are bendy straws, and I have a couple. Once we get to like I like looking at pictures like this and seeing, you know, the different kit parts and how it was built. Nice. Brass tubing. I know these parts. That's flak gun again.
Flak.
Yeah.
Those are those two orange parts go inside the wall front of the X1 Vader tie.
Yeah, they go on the side guns of the ATST as well, and on Slave One.
Did I love the way that gun looks building that up with the ATST? I should have sent some pictures over for you to show that off.
I could show it. I could show it. I have them. I have them saved. I mean, look at it. It's just this piece is used on like 20 different Star Wars models, and you wouldn't know it unless you know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? It's freaking weird how that works. The more here it is primered. Next
some
to
stuff just looks so good primed, doesn't it?
It does. I like how
it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah,
it's a weird thing, but it's so aesthetically appealing.
Where's nice, Donald.
Yeah, that was a happy accident for everybody, huh?
Yeah, that was a little that I went the wrong way. That's because you like me sending those pictures to you, Jason. That's why.
You get out of it, dude.
He tells me all the time, "Hey, send me all the dirtiest pictures you can find." You know, he likes
because I know you're the one with him.
Well, I'm not the one who like went and watched a episode of a show that just to see the weird shit that just happened.
Dude, again, you brought that to my attention. I knew nothing about it.
So this is primered and then covered with reefer white. Like you can see, like it's white, but it's like off-white because of the gray primer that's underneath it. You know, like you could put this on white and it would be brighter, but since you have it on the gray, it just no. Wait a second. Yeah, there it is. That's the top.
It's a nice piece, brother.
Sure is. Sure is. It's gonna look so good next to the bigger.
I love that little crash landing underneath. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. I actually found some videos that John had done painting this, but he doesn't have it up online on his channel. And I don't know how I found it, but just like I think I was going through like an RPF and it was on there. You know, it's just like a quick like 2-minute video of him painting like these scorch marks on the bottom. There's like 3 of them. He probably doesn't want them to know they're out there, but whatever. Yeah, this is just a really beautiful piece and probably looks even more incredible in person. Now I know he has the cockpit glass too. I read somewhere in one of the forums that he was waiting for, or he told me that he was waiting for a while for this cockpit glass. Yeah. So I was talking to him one time. I was like, "Hey, John, what about that A-wing?" He's like, "Oh man, he didn't really want to let it go, but I twisted his arm." So
yeah, it's got great detail.
I
could just sit here and watch you scroll.
Yeah, I love this splatter. I remember looking on ArchiveX Paint Facebook page, and Guy Cohen had done they were doing a speeder challenge. Nope, that wasn't what it was. He did a concept speeder run of like a couple of them, right? Where he scratch builded them and painted them. And it was concept for Force Awakens, I think. I might be completely wrong, but I think I read that. And it showed on the side this splatter pattern that he had done. And I remember looking at it and I just was in awe of how I wish I had the picture, but like he did it with a bunch of different colors, but he did it in a way that, okay, say you want your splatter pattern to just be coming off, like say there's a pipe and you have a bunch of splatter coming off of the pipe, right? Okay. If you put tape on there to make it only go in that triangular pattern, you're going to see tape line. It's going to be too clean of an edge, right? But he did this splatter somehow where he got it in that triangular pattern and then another color triangular pattern slightly off that angle. And it was just so nicely done. And I've actually been trying to do the exact same thing with no luck whatsoever. But it was so well done. Like, these guys just make this look effortless, you know? Now, I haven't seen too many of guys' paintings work, but John swears up and down that guy's painting is way better than his. And like, I haven't seen too many. I've only seen that one thing from Guy and his Millennium Falcon as well. I don't know. John's work just blows my mind sometimes. So, yeah. So like I said, the plan tonight was to go through a bunch of different cool things that we've been seeing on the internet, and our do we want to cover this at all, Jason? The X-Wing? Oh, these damn pictures are too small.
Maybe not tonight. This thing caused a lot of back and forth. I just don't want to start a thread of
I kind of wanted to show a couple things of Jason Eaton's from Wonderfest.
This thing is just
Crazy.
this is a lot of fun. Yeah,
This is
I remember when going back. I mean, he started on this. I think close to a year ago. He said, I got something really fun I want to try because he had made the dumpster where they would like toss the stuff in the back island lot and had like he matched everything, the stains, the graffiti. It's just really outside the box, right? And then he said, I got something really interesting, and so it's that, and he had the the behind the scenes picture of that. I think it's like Harrison Ford's driving it or something. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, that would actually be a really cool piece. And sure enough, man, he nailed it. Look at that. Look at how well he did that snow, brother.
Man,
That's the bane of your existence, huh?
fucking hate snow right now. I gotta get it done. I have to get it done. It's taking up too much space in my garage, and they're two big honking pieces. And I love painting the ball, but once it got to putting the snow on the base, just I know you have to do a whole bunch of layers, and the layers don't really look right to me, and so like I said, I don't really.
Very. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. It's just aggravating for me to do landscapes. So, but yeah, this is
It's a very clean model, huh?
yeah.
I love how it even has the Empire Strikes Back, but then you even have the McQuarrie, like the jacket patch. It's like on the front because the real vehicle had that.
This
And they would track the camera equipment and other equipment back and forth in the snow track because they said one of the worst storms they had seen in like half a century in Norway then.
okay. I don't feel so bad. This is kind of how my snow looks a little bit.
Like cake
Not
icing?
like cake icing. Yeah, like I've been trying to get it like smooth because when I go outside in the snow, it don't like
Doesn't look like cupcake frosting, yeah.
yeah. But this okay, I don't feel so bad. I've been thinking mine doesn't look right because it's not fluffy enough.
The way
But
his is built up around the glass and the windshields, that I think is top notch. Those speckles like on the glass and the thing is running, so it's hot and the snow's like stuck to it, a little bit's melting off, but not quite. Yeah.
it would have been really bonkers if he got this thing to flash and spin. That'd
Probably
surprise me.
does.
It might. It wouldn't
Probably
surprise
does,
me.
No,
It's
him,
what
I
this-
wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
yeah, it's the things he does. He is a master builder, that's for sure. It's just the stuff that comes off of his hands and his mind is crazy.
Well, that's the thing, right? So there's some. I mean, look at Stewie for example. I know he had to jump off and head to work, but amazing builder. When you look at that Falcon, I mean that's a work of art in and of itself. Where I think Jason really excels is not just being a phenomenal builder, but he goes outside the box and does the fun stuff. Kind of like how Tom does for the licensed collectibles, right? He does the stuff that you would least expect. Okay, so Jason does that version of like model building, and I remember one of the first times I ever interacted with him. I was watching Adam Savage, and I'm a huge Blade Runner fan. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that or know that. I'm a huge Blade Runner fan, and as you know, Adam Savage, it's one of the movies he's obsessed with. But Jason built a blimp, the Blade Runner, and oh my god, I looked at that thing and I was just beside myself. I couldn't just even fathom the work behind it and the detail and how exacting it looked and how well it was made. And then Adam's like, "Oh yeah, this was built by my good friend Jason Eaton," and I'm like, I think I'm familiar with that guy. I said he's around the model community, and I remember hitting him up, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm watching Adam Savage and checking out your blimp from Blade Runner." And I just was really just blown away by that thing. And ever since, I really started getting a little bit more involved with the type of work he does, and this is a perfect example. Like many people aren't going to think of building something like this, and this is scratch built. That's even better. This wasn't like a kit he assembled. This is scratch built.
Didn't that blimp have an animated screen?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Like full on animated screen that replicated what you saw in the movie.
I'll be honest, I would have loved to go to Wonderfest. We had planned on it and we were thinking about it, but then it was the week after Celebration, and at first I was thinking to myself, oh, I wish I would have went to Wonderfest instead of Celebration. But
Yeah, you said that to me, remember?
I did say that to you. But then after Celebration, I just had such an insanely good time that I just all of it meant everything that happened there was just great and meant a lot with my kids and stuff. So I'm glad I did go to Celebration. But here's another piece that he had at Wonderfest. It's a Red 5. It's a beautiful Red 5. It's apparently the most accurate Red 5 you're going to come across. You know a lot more about exactly what he was talking about, like the different sided facets back here in the engine, right? That was more accurate on this than anything that had been done before.
Yes.
So like this was another piece that he brought there. Just stunning. Now, I didn't add these on mine. These yellow pieces.
You're slacking, brother.
Know,
I'm just messing with it.
Just beautiful. Now, is this 1/24th or is this bigger?
I think it's 1/24. If not, it might be 1/18. I mean, can't tell by the photographs because
No. Just so interesting to look at.
That's one of the reasons I don't share a lot of my collection because I'm good at a lot of things, but man, I can't take a good photograph to save my life.
No way.
I just can't. I can't do the pieces justice.
No. Every one of my pictures look like total dog shit. Although
this does the piece justice.
Yeah. I think he just does this in his living room and throws a black felt in the background. Like I've seen it, like his setup.
Yeah, they use the photo boxes.
Yeah.
Tend to pop up.
But look. I mean, look at the pilot on this thing, and the detail and inside, like the scratches,
the line
on
work and the buttons and everything on the cockpit panel.
The weathering on the outside canopy. It's just wow.
Okay. So even go by go down a little bit. Now go to the window. Now go to the window behind it, like the back seat window.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the line as it meets the panel. Look at the weathering on that as it meets the panel.
Yeah, right here.
It's just like that. Like what attention to detail, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's about 3 or 4 different colors.
I like this where it's scratched off, but it doesn't look like it's scratched. Like it doesn't look like it was intentionally scratched off with a sandpaper or something like that. It looks
natural, as if like when the pilot's getting in and out of the cockpit, he like knocks into it or his gear scratches it. That's what it looks like.
And it's just the paint's worn down rather than scratched off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good. So good. And then this is a comparison shot.
Benjamin, I might take you up on that. Sorry, he was just saying he can help me with some photos.
Yeah, I saw that. This is a comparison shot. Looks freaking dead on to me. I mean, you take away the fact that this is a very old,
Well, Chris, hold on. I want to talk about this. This is important, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying it looks dead on. Some people might look at this and be like, well, wait a minute. I can pick out 15 different, when it's kind of like a book of highlights. You look at the 2 images and find the differences. But, and we've had this discussion in the past, some people don't take into consideration the lighting, the time at which that photograph was taken, right? This photograph's taken like 45 years ago. We all know how film looks, how images look, how, Kodak and those type of things. So it's a talent in and of its own to be able to look at a photograph that's 40 plus years old and be able to emulate something and make up for how the lighting may have adjusted or even changed the way something looked. So you're right. This actually is spot on. But the reason why it doesn't look so is because you're looking at different, different setting, different lighting, slightly different angles.
The camera, even like what
camera
kind of
being
camera
used,
they
yes.
took with this. It's just, yeah. Like the pictures that I've seen, this green, and this green, they're different. I like that. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And this green here is the same as this one, but this one looks different. Just very interesting, and I don't know. That kind of shit thrills me. Here's a Skyhopper that he had done as well. I was never a huge fan of Skyhopper. Again, it's a Cantwell piece. I know it has its significance in New Hope. It wasn't something that I've ever been crazy about, but this looks great. I like the detail, the kit part details. I like this. This is what I don't know why I like this so much, but okay. So you got this color, and then you have two other panels that are completely different colors than the base color. It kind of seems like this panel was damaged and at some point was replaced, or this panel was
damaged. Well, that's the great thing about the Rebel stuff, because without actually ever coming out and saying it, they were like, hey, they had to make do with what they had because they were broke.
Mm-hmm. Just thrown
so
together.
If they pulled it off a different ship, when cars get into accidents, they strip them down for parts and put into another car, and it's kind of like what they're doing.
Yeah. And he also brought a snowspeeder.
It's a nice reworked master replica.
I don't think this is the master replica.
I'm 100% sure it is. I didn't mean that in a negative way. That's a master replica piece. The size is a dead giveaway.
I think you're saying he took a master replica piece and...
It's definitely a master replica piece. Looking at the bottom, you can tell by the little panel. Yeah, that's an MR that he totally reworked. Which again, hats off, because it's a giant, solid piece of resin.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember him saying that he retrofitted the cockpit.
Look at the detail on that guy's face, huh?
Yeah.
Looks like you can be like, "Hey Joe, how's it going?" Like, he looks so real.
Well,
okay. Know what I love about this? I didn't mean to interject. Look at the seatbelt. He actually was able to emulate the bubble wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's crazy.
It wouldn't surprise me if this is one of his friends, because didn't he just do a bust of Bill George?
He did one of Lauren Peterson, Bill George. He did the General Giant style busts.
Yeah. He just gave it to Bill George down at Wonderfest this past weekend. Okay, so now I do remember that he was taking an MR piece and changing it. Now, this looks like his friend. What's his name? Damn it! I was looking at his page today. One like his friend from the RPF. I swear these are some of the guys that he hangs out with at Wonderfest. I'm gonna look it up then later. So my sons were watching something recently that had snow speeders in it, and they couldn't get over the size of how small the snow speeders were. I guess they're actually pretty small little ships. They're like, no, they're supposed to be bigger. I think because they've seen the Hasbro one, it's a little bigger to fit two figures in, but the real one, the actual model kit one, they cut the legs off of the pilot so to fit him in. Otherwise, it wouldn't even gone in. I mean, look at all the detail he's got. Look at this pattern on the top.
That's crazy.
Pattern on the top. Like it's like snow insulation. like I said, Jason Eaton's skills as a model builder are crazy
He
to
just
me.
thinks of things that you wouldn't normally think of,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of, I don't want to say Easter eggs because it's not,
No, it's
that's
just
not the approach he takes, but
details.
there's just detail. There's things. Here's the thing: in a lot of his models, there's stuff that you would never see with the naked eye unless like you disassembled or took pieces apart. You'll never know they're there, and you'll never see them, but he still puts them in.
Most people would just make that plain, like
Mhm.
and not add the pipes and the mechanism here and all this texture from what basically looks like insulation. Like I can honestly myself say that I probably wouldn't even. I'd just base coat paint that. I wouldn't even probably. I might weather it, but
I mean, even the idea to come up with the bubble wrap seatbelt straps. I mean, that's fantastic.
so this is the other piece that he brought to Wonderfest.
This thing is gorgeous.
That's fucking amazing. Now I know on the show that we had him on, he brought us pictures of the build process of this. And at first, when I first glanced at this, I didn't think there was as much detail as there actually is. Once I saw those in the process pictures, there is so much detail in this thing that you don't see in pictures. It's insane. And like this is right up there with his Jawa Sandcrawler as probably two of my favorite pieces he's done. No doubt
The
about
little
it.
city within the city, and like it's got the Besbin feel.
It's got little skyscrapers on this thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little robot in there somewhere.
I mean,
I know there's like a little plane or a little vehicle that's parked somewhere.
yeah, on one of these tops, right? On one of the tops of the buildings.
I forget where it is.
But just like all this detail that's down here. Freaking bonkers. I would love to see this thing in person. I'd be sitting there staring at it for a couple hours. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at all this stuff that's hanging from the top here. And then all this stuff from the bottom. I mean, even these weather vanes have horizontal pieces. Like, there's probably people inside of this thing. Do you know if there is?
I don't know.
But look how it's lit up. There's different colored lights in there.
Yeah, it's beautifully done.
Like I said, just top of the class. Like, just. Oh, can we see if there's people in there? Look at right there. Man. So.
That color is so Star Wars, huh?
It is. It really is. I'm trying to figure. Like, I'm not great at colors. Okay, so. Like, let's just say this was the Flocal paints, right? Is this rust or is this scarlet? I know he doesn't use the Flocal paints. He mixes his own. He likes to come up with the colors on his own. But if it was a Flocal paint, like it's almost like the cloud car with a mist on it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and look at there's different shaded panels here. Crazy. Just insane. Those are the pictures I have for Jason. Let me see, what else do I got? I got the Cruiser, John, the X-Wing. Those, I just have pictures of my ATST. Those are all I have. I'll just show one picture. I'll just show one picture of my ATST. Oh, they're going to be small too. Bastard. All right, that ain't going to work. I don't know why these got small, but anything else you want to talk about, Jason?
Nothing specific.
No. Okay.
Yeah, just
So I love doing these shows where we just kind of talk about what we are working on. We've been talking for a little while now about we had John Simmons on once, and we've been trying to get back on with him again, but our schedules haven't aligned for a while. He's 8 hours ahead of us, something like that, 6 to 8 hours. So by the time we're eating lunch, he's probably getting ready for dinner or bed, and it's been I can only really get on playing a show during the day. So we're hoping to have him maybe next Friday or even one day the week after. Talk about some stuff he's doing. I know he just recently did Cloud Car, some A-Wings, an X-Wing for Tony. I love seeing what people are working on, step-by-step processes. And yeah. Anything you want to talk about, Jason, or are we good for the day?
it's up to you. I mean, I can hang out for a little longer. Just
Yeah.
chill. Yeah, just again, same. Like just working on some stuff.
Okay.
Just trying to find some other interesting things to get into. I've been building up. As you know, I've been collecting a lot of found parts for a few years now. And over the last year, between the pandemic kind of shifting and kind of going in and out, some things that where I just had to take a little time off with travel and work. I've just been getting my hands dirty and building some things and been having a lot of fun with that. It's been interesting. Been learning a lot. As you know, I spent a lot of time building up the Boba Fett parts, which that actually was really interesting because the stuff that they were able to figure out and find, what the original found parts were on that, was just, I don't know, man. That's a feat in and of its own. But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. And the model kits, whether they're produced kits by someone like Merlin or Garage Kit or just even Scratch Build. I mean, as you know, me and you are getting into the Scratch Build stuff now, and that's been a lot of fun. I'm having a blast doing that. I've been chasing down so many different kits and just stripping pieces out and separating them. Yeah.
I have almost come to the point where I just don't want to do a resin kit where I have to clean all the shit off of it anymore. I'd rather just scratch build something or, Merlin models, or I'm getting spoiled by Merlin models and Lassie. I just don't want to do it anymore. I can't see myself building one unless it's something that I absolutely need to have, I found something else I remembered that I wanted to talk about, Jason, if you don't.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I found another thing that you and I were talking about. This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me make my screen bigger.
Pretty nice. If for those of you that don't know, this is a McCrory Concept Slave One. A lot of people have talked about doing this. I've heard, like Jason talk about wanting to do it. I've read other people were thinking about doing it, but this is like one of the first guys I know who's actually done it. It's the first one I've seen, but that's not saying much. And there's Jason Eaton's pieces behind him. All four of them that we were just showing. This is really a crazy design. This is so far away from what Slave One is for real. And at first I was like, oh, that's just a little bit too out there for me. But the more I look at it, the more I actually like it. And it's a little surprising. It's not really... I mean, you like it?
I do.
I do.
I mean, I'm not head over heels for it, but I do like it. I think it's interesting.
That's pretty interesting. Let's see. That's the best picture that they had. Like, that's the underside. I know there was a good picture of the underside on his. Oh no, what happened? Oh, I'm zoomed out too far. Okay, there we go. So he actually used a lot of kit parts on it. There's, you can't really see him on here, but there's parts from F1 fighter underneath here, and there were some C-Lab parts behind these engines that I saw in another picture. Just, yeah, you got to see this, Robin. It's pretty cool looking. It's a little crazy. Looks like a ladybug more than a ship.
Yeah.
But I think it's something I would love to, like, maybe not tackle myself. Probably, I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing it, but it's just something that's actually kind of cool. And then somebody built a big, huge medical frigate at the WonderCon. That's bigger than studio scale size, right? Isn't it? That's much larger.
Yeah, that's a honking piece right there.
There's another picture of a slave. Oh, I forgot about this piece that Jason had at the Wonderfest as well. The robot. Oh, there's another shot. So you can see how it lights up in the back here. Kind of cool.
I love the little, again, I would say, I don't want to use the term Easter eggs, but if you look at the Probot, it's got the Jabba door knocker poking up.
Right there. Yep.
So I go,
Yep.
ACQP2.
This is smaller than I pictured, actually. I thought it would be, in the first picture it looks bigger.
Well, think about it. So that MR Snowspeeder is about 17 inches long. So the car is actually a decent size.
Well, this is big.
That thing is a beast.
This is a big honking thing. Here's that bus that I was talking about, that Bill George. Oh, so here's the picture that I was just recently talking to Joseph about. The base for this Red 5, it is
That's a laser edge trench run, right?
Yeah, laser edge trench run. Very cool. Great idea, Jason. Very great idea. I promise I won't.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. That is great.
Yeah, it is a very, very, like my neighbor did took some comic covers and engraved them onto wood for me. It's basically the same thing. It's no different. It's a really awesome idea. And this is acrylic, and then in the middle there's this, like, it's acrylic around the edge, but then snow in the middle. He did that with the moisture evaporator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's more of that Slave 1. I know there's I wanted to see a picture of. I know there was a picture of underneath where I could see. Maybe it was on his site. But. Alright. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We got 10 people watching, which is good. It's midnight. We're talking some studio scale. It's okay. I don't care how many people are watching, how many are not. I just enjoy talking about it, showing things, talking about things. It's been a little while since we did this, Jason.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. We can definitely do more. I mean, we're both working on a handful of projects.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of things in the works. My bench is 3-4 feet wide. I get a New Hope X-wing that I was able to do That thing is comprised of about 50% donut parts. I showed you the detailed drawings on that. That thing is a beast. All the parts on that, I get that in the works. That's pretty much almost finished up. The Jedi training remote, that's probably going to be able to be displayable by the end of the month. We're doing the ATST, still toying around with the Iron Cannon a little bit. Got the Merlin models which I haven't tackled yet. I know, again, that's the one I was talking about earlier, where you have a very specific goal on. So I know it's going to be a little while for you on that, but yeah, some interesting stuff, some fun stuff.
I'm one of those people who has to finish a project before I start another one.
Oh, really?
It drives me nuts when I don't have a finish. Like, okay, so like the ATST, it's going to take us a little while to get all the parts. Okay, so that I have to be patient with. But let's say, like I'm going to struggle with starting a new project if I don't finish these ion cannons. It's going to always be back in the back of my mind, just like I got to get these finished. I got to get these finished. Plus, I don't think Steve will let me not finish the one for him. So he'll be bugging me for it. But like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I have to think about it. I have a couple ideas, but I have three kits that I can do. I have a Y-wing, a A-wing, and a cloud car, and an AT-AT too. I have the AT-AT, but I want to do that one. I want to flesh that one out once I start 3D printing and doing and other stuff like that for the inside or scratch building it. Oh, and I have a Razor Crest coming that I'm going to repaint too as well. So I have a lot of projects I have to do, but
See, I like working on them simultaneously.
I like working on two. Let's just put it that way. I like working on two. Okay, so that I can, if I'm working on one and I hit a spot where I have to wait for something, I can work on the other.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have things that you're waiting on, things coming in, things to dry, I don't like setting and forgetting. Like, it drives me crazy because if I don't have something else to work on, I tend to go to something before I should. Like, oh, this isn't completely cured, this isn't completely dried, and I know I should be hands off. So if I have something else to preoccupy me, then it's a little bit easier for me to do that. But I've also been a little bit more proactive with taking images. I took a lot of images of the New Hope tie build. I took some images of scratching the ATST heads together and, splitting up the kit parts on that with the donors. And, so I've been a little bit more proactive.
We got to start showing some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely been a little bit more mindful of documenting and taking photos of the stuff.
I plan on doing some videos, like build videos, where build something, speed the process up, talk through it, slow it down, show some specific things. It's just you have to figure out how you're going to do that and plan that ahead, because it's hard to videotape something while you're working because you're just kind of going. You're not thinking about, all right, well, I need to videotape it this way, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. It's difficult to do that for me at least. So I'm gonna do my best to try to come up with some of those videos to show on our channel. I mean, they may not have a lot of views, but who gives a shit? I'm gonna do it anyways. So,
Yeah.
But I think that's good, Jay. What do you think? We good for the night?
Yeah, we're gonna check out.
Appreciate all you guys stopping in, listening. And we have our, Nitrous. I don't know. That's the first time I've seen that name. Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure.
No. Well, make yourself known to us, Nitrous. It's always good to see a new name on the group. Then we have the Bowmans. We love having them on our shows, talking in the background. They keep the conversation going a lot, and it's very helpful. So let us know, Robin and Benjamin, if you start doing some pieces. We'd like to see what you're doing. So I know you were interested in getting into it. Mm-hmm. But thanks for joining us. And Jason, Pleasure,
Yeah.
brother. I always love talking all this stuff with you. You know.
Yeah, happy to jump on, man.
So I'm glad you did, because I'm sure
That's
people
a
don't
good
just want
chat.
to hear me talking. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us, and
Well, we're gonna jump on again soon because between the live watches of Obi-Wan that takes place, I know it's a popular one. A lot of people like that, but it's late at night. Depending on where you're located, to the midnight or 3 a.m. Don't get the group therapies, but I think as schedules allow, I think me and Chris will jump on from time to time a little bit more. And try to squeeze in at least once a week, maybe once every other week, and do
Yep.
this. Jump on for an hour and a half or so, and just talk shop, show some images of what's going on, what we're working on, what other people are working on, and yeah, if we can have some guests on, great. If not, it'll just be us, and yeah, we'll do our thing.
definitely every other week for sure. Hopefully more than that. But like I said, I'm looking at other people's builds every day that I'm sitting around just on my phone, and I just thought of it today. I was like, let's just show other people's things, what they're doing.
I
It
agree.
made me start looking at other creators that I don't know friendly personally, but I've heard of and seen their stuff. So like that guy who made that concept frigate, with all the kit
Mm-hmm.
parts. I was very interested to show that off. I should know the name, but I didn't. Next time I will. So
Yeah, friggin' frigate.
frigate. I'll figure it out later. So yeah. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. I don't know if there's anything planned other than group therapy next week so far. And the Obi-Wan watch, which I will probably never get on because I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. So, sorry, guys, you're on your own. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Jason.
All right,
See
man.
you, everybody.
Everybody have a good night.